Going live. What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Happy Hour. It's the show that's new every time, and it's very, very exciting. Of course, I am your host, Brandon, the Hitman Hanna, and I am joined by an amazing guest today. You know him. You love him. It's WARFATHER.
Huzzah!
Huzzah, sir.
Hello, Mr. Hanna. How you doing, Hitman?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm very happy to have a fellow faction mate here, a fellow member of the Burning Droogs.
Is that still our name? Will we ever know? Who's to say?
It's still our name, and we will embrace it.
Oh,
We'll embrace the power that it gives us, because it does imbue us, I believe, with great power. And I know you know something about being imbued with great power. You've got the helmet. You've got the hammer.
I got Schmoepash. Yes, the hammer.
Yes, Schmoepash. That's a great name.
Thank you.
Now, is that you clearly are worthy of lifting that hammer, but we've seen before Jen Sturger not as worthy.
Not as worthy, no.
Hammer. Is anyone else? No. Is anyone else in this league you think worthy?
Who's to say? They're going to have to try, but they are going to have to try by prying it out of my cold, dead hands.
Excellent. That is the type of energy that we need on this show. So thank you for coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So yeah, you are quite welcome. There is a lot going on in the world of the Schmoedown these days.
Is there now?
Yes. We've got, of course, a Star Wars tournament that had two matches air live today on Twitch. But of course, we also have the Innergeekdom tournament, something you and I know a little bit about.
Well, you would know. Yeah, we know a little bit. We were both. You have your match with Saul.
Yes,
coming up
this Friday. I have my
this
match
Friday
with Saul.
I had my play-in match against Greg Alba. Did not go well, but it went.
Yes, and, I mean, well, listen, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm no stranger to losing. We all lose.
We all lose. We all sometimes have 2 hours of sleep and a broken fridge to deal with prior to a match.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That is unfortunate.
That's a shoot. It's unfortunate. All credit to Greg Alba. He fought well. He deserved to win. I just wish I did a bit more and I wasn't as exhausted prior to that. That way I would have definitely gotten Terrence Howard as an answer for the Iron Man 1 question.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. That's definitely the type of, there's definitely questions like that where, I mean, I always like to say, you know, when you go into Innergeekdom, either you know it or you don't know it, but there are questions.
Or your brain freezes and you see the guy. You see the guy's face. You see his smile. You see the fact that you see all the other roles that he's played. And then you just kind of blank, and you just be like, man, is it Lionel or Lucius? No, those are names of characters he's played, and then it's like, oh, it's just old Terrence.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. I'm no stranger. I'm no stranger to missing a name here or there. Trust me, these fans will never let you forget it. But who knows? You are actually well loved in this Schmoedown community.
I like the fans. I like them. I mean, all of the criticisms are not wrong. And if they have a certain opinion of me, that is theirs to share. I just love to show up, test my mettle, and have a good time, and hope that they're having a good time back. That's my main goal. Winning is wonderful. Entertainment is the achievement.
I mean, it's very noble of you to say. That is an optimism that you have that, unfortunately, I don't know if I share anymore. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into too much. This is supposed to be a fun show. And you know, speaking of fun, you don't always lose, WARFATHER. Sometimes you win. Your singles career,
3 matches I win.
Your singles career is very promising, my friend.
So far, I'm 1-0 in the singles league, and I'm very much looking forward to that and expanding upon my knowledge of films, old, new, and in between.
Yes. Is there a division that you prefer between singles and Innergeekdom?
Singles, because I win in that one, to say the least.
That's
But
fair enough.
you know, I, as you can clearly see upon the bookshelves and randomness that people saw in my match and behind me, I still have a love for the topics that Innergeekdom touches upon.
For sure. I mean, is there a particular wheel slice? Let's get into that. Is there a particular wheel slice that let's maybe not give away strengths and weaknesses, but is there one that you love maybe a little more than the others?
I enjoy anything regarding comic book films, specifically MCU, but heroes and villains. I also enjoy movie quotes as a wheel slice. And,
really?
Yeah. Oh, it just rings a bell. I'm more of an auditory learner.
That is not an opinion most people share in this league. The Who Said It wheel in particular has been known to be quite the struggle, even for me personally.
It can be. I mean, they go into deep dives. I should comment on the private chat, if I may.
Sure.
Todd, you are correct, and I thank you for accepting my answer of not Don Cheadle as acceptable. And I want to thank you all for joining us for this lovely, boisterous conversation about Schmoedown and otherwise. Thank you to the Hitman for providing such a platform. Yeah.
It is. I feel, I have an obligation to provide a platform to those in this Schmoedown community, the few left in this Schmoedown community that deserve it. And you are one of them, my friend.
Oh, shucks. Thank you, sir. It is a pleasure to be a member of the league and a member of a team with you.
Likewise. It's every faction has 2 players in this Innergeekdom tournament, and it is an honor to fight side by side with you. To get the
Yes, I apologize for interrupting, but
no, you can interrupt me anytime, sir.
Oh, well, thank you for the office, but I just wanted to say that even though I have fallen short, I shall be rooting for you as you play against Saul, and that you climb the ladder and you throttle the beast of Innergeekdom that is known as Kevin Smets for the championship, for the Droogs, for victory.
Very, very well put, my friend. Very, very well put. Yes, Kevin Smets. He's got it coming to him, doesn't he? I think he does.
Well, I find him to be a very fantastic human being and a fantastic player. I mean, the deepest of cuts.
Fantastic player, yes. Human being, I don't know anymore. Me and Kevin we're in a bit of a rough patch.
I know, to put it. You are in a rough patch, but I see positive qualities in both of you. But while he is considered and has shown his dominance in the Innergeekdom division, I can clearly see the potential in you to slaying him and become your own dominant champion, to show the den and to show everyone else who you truly are within.
Yes, thank you. Oh, we got Brian Nussbaum in the chat with a very, very hot take. Kevin has only played bad IG players besides Kalinowski. Oh, you hate to hear it. You hate to read it. You hate to have it said out loud, but
that's not true. He hasn't played me yet.
Warfather, my friend, you're not bad. You had a bad day. We all have bad days.
I appreciate that. I do.
You know, if anything, it was on me for not being there for you as much as I could have been.
Oh, don't. Let's not.
People want to paint me. People want to paint me as a bad guy in this league. No. I stand up for the people that deserve it, and I'll own up to if I was not there for you, Warfather. If I did not give you the guidance that maybe you needed to pull a Terrence Howard question, you have my sincerest apologies, because I'm not a villain. No, I'm just here to preach the truth.
Apologies unnecessary, friend, but thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Innergeekdom.
Apparently,
It's
Chandru works at PetSmart. I was unaware of this as well.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know what Chandru does in his spare time. If Kaiser's going around stalking players now, that's a move, I guess. I mean, he did try to stalk Mike Kalinowski at Universal
Study
Studios
your
at one
opponents.
time.
Oh,
Fair.
that seems to be a bit much, but yeah, study your opponent. I mean, he's doing what a good manager does. I understand it. Gathering information.
I prefer to study my opponents while they're studying other opponents.
You're studying the studiers.
Yes.
Oh, a fine technique for a good hitman.
Yes, it's like this isn't an Innergeekdom movie, but in Avatar, when what's his name, Sam Worthington has to ride that large winged creature thing. I don't know the names because it's not.
Yes,
and I don't
by
care.
using his sex hair.
Yes, that is also true. Yes, but Kaiser is like that, and that beast up top, looking down on his prey, thinking nobody's gonna fly above me because I'm the big guy, But you got to watch out for sneaky little hitmen.
Yes, hitmen by their very nature are sneaky.
Yes,
Look at Timothy Oliphant in the film Hitman.
Correct.
He sneaks up behind you with his handsomeness, and you die.
That's kind of how it goes. That's the way I'm familiar with it. We got a former friend of mine, Janine the Machine, in the chat calling me creepy. It looks like. All right. I mean, and then Brandon Buckingham.
By the strictest of definitions, what you are describing is creepy and creeping.
Well,
she's not wrong.
I prefer not
take
to
the judgment out of it. It's fine. It's objective.
I prefer not to label it, Warfather.
Oh, well, then let's go without labels then.
Yes, let us. We have Brandon Buckingham in the chat, the lesser Brandon, I might add. Ooh, using profanity. Is that what we're stooping to now? Hashtag Go Saul. I mean, maybe let's talk about Saul for a second. This is a big match coming up for me against Saul, against the Den, and I think it's just hilarious that anybody thinks that this clown has a shot against me. He's never even played a match.
I'm unaware of Saul. Does he practice the clownery arts?
He does, actually, yes. And I think I'm unaware of Saul is the perfect way to put it. Nobody cares who he is. I don't care. I mean, I have to play him. What was that?
Is he from the Bible?
I don't think so.
Okay. Then I have no knowledge of this Saul.
Yeah, no knowledge of him indeed, except for the fact that, of course, he's going to lose on Friday.
Hear. Hanna.
Yes, but before the show goes completely off the rails now, I got a little distracted, if you will. I tried to make an Avatar reference without knowing the names of any of the creatures or people in the movie.
It's fine. We've all forgotten.
Good.
We don't know what Jim Cameron is doing.
I don't know. Nobody knows. Making 4 other sequels?
I don't know. All I know is that he would punch me in the mouth for calling him Jim.
Are you a fan of Avatar? Are you looking forward to the sequels?
No. That's done. I enjoyed Ferngully, The Last Rainforest, and I enjoy Mr. Cameron's previous work in Aliens. And all I had to do was just imagine them both together, and that's what it turned out to be. Right down to the Sigourney Weaver of it all.
Right down to the Sigourney Weaver of it all.
And I feel that his creative... I feel that his creative juices could be best served in doing other films, or if he were to do sequels, that he wouldn't span them over a decade apart.
Very, very, very astute observation. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how these movies are going to turn out. I mean, at this point, I just want to see anything in the theaters again. I don't know about you.
I long to go to a movie theater with a barrel of popcorn and a stein of mead to enjoy the cinema. But we must do the responsible thing, for while I am a titan of battle, anyone can succumb to this virus, so we must be responsible for everyone involved. And may I say to the Miss Movies, pardon, while the Warfather is just the Warfather, this handle, this Erik W. Barnes, he's my publicist is all. The two of us are actually my roommate. He was the one that broke the fridge.
Oh.
It caused me to stay up all but 2 hours the night prior to my match with Greg Alba.
I mean, all the greats.
And he lifts his underwear on the floor, and it's annoying.
Yeah. I mean, you hate to see it, Warfather. Maybe, have you thought about getting a new publicist?
Well, he works cheap, so
that is
there's
true.
not a lot of money in being a Warfather. It's more for the passion of the game than for actual tangible payment.
That is something I really appreciate about you. Your passion for the game, I think, is unmatched by most in this league.
Oh, well, thank you. I really enjoy the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. I enjoy schmoedowning with the best. I enjoy schmoedowning with the worst. It is being in the game that fuels me to battle. And may I address the chat? Do I have your permission, Mr. Hanna?
Oh, of course, address the chat.
Mr. Janish, it is Warfather one word, much like Mr. Peanut Butter is one word. Don't write one word. And the War Son is indeed Mark Ellis. Maybe the War Dad could be my new publicist. Who's to say? Who's to know? If you can introduce me to this War Dad, I would love to meet him and give him a cease and desist for copyright infringement. I also have the laughing disease that the Joker has, apparently. Anyway, please, Mr. Hanna.
Well, you see, that's a good comic book reference right there. Comic book film reference.
Indeed. From a not great comic book film.
Oh, well, I agree with that, actually. But there are a lot of people out there that do love Joker. I did not like it at all.
I did not care for it. Joaquin Phoenix was an amazing performer in a movie with terrible dialogue and hurt white feelings. That also doesn't care for women either.
Yes, yeah, it's a very doom and gloom movie. I like my movies to have like a little bit of fun. I know like there's very serious movies, but like if you could find a way to make it a little fun at times.
They somehow took the movie Taxi Driver and removed the fun parts out of it to make the Joker.
Yeah, I mean, it's even if it's even if the movie isn't fun, an interesting narrative could go a long way. And if you asked me to describe the narrative of Joker to you, I don't know if I could do it adequately.
I prefer, and I discussed this with a fellow Schmoedown competitor, Mara Kanopik, earlier, that the Joker would have been better if you view it under the mindset of Arthur read a bunch of Batman comics and infused his life into the Joker's to create this false narrative that we are forced to see on screen as an unreliable narrator.
Interesting.
Even though the movie should have just been called Arthur, but there's already an Arthur. So,
yes,
at least to my knowledge. And by the way, if you spell Warfather, it's one word, all caps.
All caps.
All of them. There are no lowercase words. None. As it is clear as the voice coming out of my throat, there are no lowercase words.
I hope everyone at home is taking notes. And I see we have Sabrina Ramirez in the chat starting a trend. Huzzah!
Huzzah! Yes, thank you all for coming and listening and watching and doing all forms of consumables of media involving the hitman, Brandon Hanna, and me, the Warfather. Okay. cool my throat.
Good. Yes. But yeah, so Joker, I was not personally a huge fan of that film. I remember watching it and I was like, I can't believe that this actually got greenlit.
It was, yeah. Honestly, it all was Joaquin and offered very little else. If you have a social commentary, I hope you would share it with us, what it is. Because I'm not sure. It's very depressing. And what is also depressing is we're still talking about Joker nearly a year after it came out, because we are stuck at home and the only movies that have existed are Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't recall other wide releases.
I think also The Invisible Man.
Oh,
well.
yes, Invisible Man.
I don't know if you would count Trolls World Tour as it came out on digital.
Oh, yes, Trolls World Tour, the one that many film pundits believe will have killed the idea of going to a movie theater. I pray not. I pray to even my higher gods that is not the case. What have you been viewing recently during this quarantine, Brandon Hanna?
Oh, quarantine. I like that. I have just been consuming all types of Innergeekdom media in preparation for this tournament.
Of course.
Yes, I don't know if I want to specifically
say. Let's not get into Innergeekdom then. Let's talk about films for leisure, for when you're not studying your prey. What does Brandon Hanna like to do for dessert?
Well, this is something that I've mentioned before. I watched this towards the beginning of quarantine. It's just to kind of unwind, and that is one of my favorite films that everyone says is bad, but I love it. And
I love this.
It's mostly nostalgia based, but it is what it is. Jurassic Park 3.
Oh, really? Interesting.
I love Jurassic Park 3.
I don't want you to rehash a previous episode, but I would love to know more.
I don't think I've talked about it on this particular show, but yeah, no, I grew up on it. Always dug the Spinosaurus. Dr. Alan Grant is my favorite character in the Jurassic Park franchise.
Lovely.
And it's just 90 minutes of him on an island running from dinosaurs, making one-liners.
If you like what you like, friend, let no one shame you. That's lovely.
Yes, and even though I also recently, just to kind of unwind from studying again, for some reason I felt tempted to put on Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. It's my least favorite of the franchise.
You're a masochist, friend.
It's my least favorite of the franchise by far, but I knew I wanted to watch something with dinosaurs with it, and I've watched the other ones so many times. I figured, okay, let's give this another shot.
I understand.
And I personally felt watching it again, I still don't love it. It's still my least favorite. Mm-hmm. However, I admire what they were trying to do. Something that makes me wish that we really got that Colin Trevorrow Star Wars Episode 9 is that even though I didn't agree with the story direction that Colin Trevorrow took the Jurassic Park franchise, he at least understood that you needed to push the narrative forward and try new things and not rehash the same ideas over and over again. And so even though I don't like the direction the story went, there's no denying he tried something new and he's pushing the narrative forward. And I gotta respect that.
That's very admirable. I felt the same way regarding The Last Jedi as well, for those reasons.
Yes. So you were not a fan of the narrative of The Last Jedi?
I actually loved the narrative of The Last Jedi. I personally thought it should have gone farther, but that's me.
Oh, really? That is a take I have not heard. Would you care to elaborate?
This is spoilers for The Last Jedi, and quite frankly, if you are watching this and haven't seen The Last Jedi, I don't think you're real. Because you would have to have seen that one before diving so deep into movie geekdom. That aside, The Last Jedi, when Rey and Kylo Ren were standing face to face after the wonderful. I understand why people don't like it, but I loved the heavily choreographed, fantastic lightsaber duel with all of those red faceless knights. I thought, oh, she's going to abandon the Jedi way. He's going to abandon the Sith way and form a third way. The true balance of the Force. Darkness and light. The Skywalker way. And I thought that the movie would just continue just to be this brand new, essentially the reformation of the Catholicism that is the Jedi.
I think that's a very fair point, a fair criticism, actually. One thing that I love personally about The Last Jedi is, Luke acknowledges the failure of the Jedi.
Yes.
If you're an original trilogy purist, I can see why you don't love The Last Jedi, because the narrative relies so much on the prequels, and having watched the prequels and the Clone Wars animated series and seeing that, as Luke says in the film, the legacy of the Jedi is failure. To say that if the Jedi die, the light dies is vanity. So the Force is bigger, much bigger than the Sith, much bigger than the Jedi. And
yes,
we were going in that direction. And then the Rise of Skywalker.
And then, yep.
And we didn't get that.
Feel the same way. Yep.
So it is unfortunate. I know Ryan Johnson used the Clone Wars animated series, specifically the Mortis arc, I believe, for those kind of bigger ideas that Lucas himself was pushing in the Clone Wars. So yeah,
interesting.
I mean, we don't have to get into it too much, because I know it's a very hot topic on the internet to this day. The film came out in 2017. We're still arguing about it. Not us in particular, but
it's a very impactful film in that regard.
Yes, very, very impactful indeed. So that's to bring it all back to dinosaurs. That's why I wish maybe we would have gotten that Colin Trevorrow episode 9. There would have been stuff in it. Looking at the screenplay, there's stuff in it that I might not have loved, but overall, it felt like a real continuation of The Last Jedi, continuing to push that story forward, trying new things that may or may not work. Yeah. Instead of just, again, rehashing the same old story we've seen time and time
as opposed to playing it safe. Yes.
But then almost, you think about it, when you try to play it safe, you're not really playing it safe, because you're going to end up alienating a large chunk of your audience.
You may alienate a large chunk of your audience, but the reason why they call it playing it safe is because they know that you and I are going to go and watch it anyway.
I mean, I will go and watch.
If it's less divisive, people will watch, people will go. I mean, and that's been a problem of the film industry for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, let's keep it on the Innergeekdom train a little bit. The Middle Earth films, The Hobbit, another kind of controversial trilogy, a prequel trilogy that didn't quite live up to the expectations of the Lord of the Rings films. A similar way to the Star Wars prequels didn't live up to the original Star Wars trilogy. Battle of Five Armies in particular, I really don't love.
I cannot comment really on those Middle Earth films because the WARFATHER has not seen them and hasn't justified the making of Time 2, even though that they are a part of the... It's probably one of the reasons why I don't fight so valiantly in the Innergeekdom, is because of those prequel films, and because I watched the film criticism essayist Lindsay Ellis's deep dive into those into the making of those movies.
Or maybe you have seen the movies and you're just trying to throw your competition off your set.
Or did I? But in all seriousness, I prefer to fight in the singles league. Just
That's fair. That's fair. And I'm not gonna lie. Between the two of us being in the same faction, both being Innergeekdom players,
indeed,
I kind of like having the spotlight on me. Not saying I have an ego, but
You don't have to. You do. But it is all well and good.
I like
And you'd
you
be
more.
a fine competitor in the Innergeekdom League and a fine champion, I should add.
It's going to happen. I mean, somebody's got to shut Kevin Smets up one of these days. But to get back to the point that I was making,
Yes, please. Sorry.
Battle of the Five Armies, didn't love it, but let's be honest, I was showing up opening night anyways. That entire film could have been Martin Freeman dressed as Bilbo Baggins, just doing a little dance for 3 hours, and I would have sit and watched all of it because we're dumb.
Dance? Any
particular dance?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. Literally any kind of dance I would watch him do. I mean, I will give that about, and I like An Unexpected Journey. I really like Desolation of Smaug, actually, but they really, in my opinion, dropped the ball with Battle of the Five Armies. But one thing those movies get right is Martin Freeman as Bilbo Baggins. Beautiful.
Oh,
perfect casting.
Excellent casting, of course. I enjoy the work of Martin Freeman. I enjoyed him in Sherlock. I enjoyed him in the British version of The Office. I enjoy him as I forget his name. This is another reason why I'm no longer in Innergeekdom, but his character in Black Panther.
Yes, Everett Ross.
Thank you. See, this is why you're going to win. And point is, he does very good work, and I wish him all the success in the world. Because that's what he needs right now.
He needs more success.
Oh, I wish he would be more successful. Oh, that poor unfortunate actor, man.
The poor Martin Freeman.
Poor Martin
not
Freeman.
The big blockbusters that he stars in. He needs more.
Oh, he's truly the Tom Hanks of his time.
In the same time that Tom
Hanks Tom Hanks, of course. Yes. We're not in the. I'm unaware. We're not in the post-Hanks era.
No, we are not in the post-Hanks era. I don't believe so. Anyway,
COVID-19, which can only make him stronger than ever.
He is at his strongest, I believe. Do you actually,
diabetes aside,
do you have a? Oh, sorry.
No, nothing to apologize for. I enjoy mirth.
You make me laugh.
Thank you.
I can't help it.
It's fine.
You know,
who doesn't love merriment? Assholes. That's
yes.
But please continue.
Andrew. No, but yes. Do you have a favorite Tom Hanks role in particular?
Past movie trivia Schmoedown appearances will tell you that the WARFATHER's favorite Tom Hanks role and favorite Tom Hanks film is of the same name, and that name is Larry Crown. Seeing that delightful little man on a Vespa trying to win the heart of Julia Roberts is the peak of cinema and the titan of filmmaking, in my humble opinion. My roommate / publicist, not so much, but who the hell cares what he believes?
That is a very, very interesting take. I've actually never seen Larry Crown.
Well, it's the story of Tom Hanks, and he buys a Vespa and rides a Vespa and wants to date Julia Roberts, and he does. That's the movie. That's all it needs.
That's all anybody needs.
All you need is love and a Vespa.
All you need is love
and a Vespa.
Yes.
Can't forget that.
Can't forget it. I'll never forget it. That's for sure.
What is a Vespa but a motorcycle for people who don't wish to show off?
It's a vessel for humble people. I like that. Indeed.
Your former friend Janine the Machine also loves Larry Crown.
Well, nobody cares what she thinks.
Oh, well, Sorry, I brought it up.
No, don't apologize. You know, I admire that you look for the good in people, Warfather. I do. I do admire that.
Yes. Well, I enjoy two things: humanity and violence, and friendship. Which makes it three things, but that's okay. Math was never my strong suit. Oh,
Yes. Oh man, I mean it's definitely interesting times that we're living in, Warfather. That's for sure. Have you been watching any films at home in particular that you enjoy?
I have been. I've been diving into the Warfather's library of Blu-rays and streaming services. Last night, I revisited the film Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and the night prior to that, a Akira Kurosawa film known as High and Low, or Heaven and Hell, if you take the direct Japanese translation. And thanks to my friend Ms. Kanopic, I was able to view a true cinema classic, The Kingdom of Spiders, starring William Shatner as a veterinarian.
Interesting.
Yes.
I've never heard of that one. I do have an important Scott Pilgrim question for you, though.
Oh, please.
Do you find the character of Scott Pilgrim to be likable or unlikable?
I find that the character is supposed to be posed as likable, but is revealed to be unlikable, as it is part of the character's narrative of realizing that he's an asshole. And if you read the source material, it hits it home a little bit harder that he grows from his pre-adolescent viewpoints of love and relationships and takes responsibility for his own actions and relies on his self-respect rather than pining over people and tossing them away like used tissues.
So you're saying he has this character arc where maybe at the beginning of the film he's not likable, but he becomes likable at the end? Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say. And I could see why he is likably unlikable in the sense that he is funny, he is charming, and he has that awkward view of himself. He, like you, is the hitman of the heart and the hitman of the soul, in the sense that he blends in so well into this nice guy persona that he himself is even unaware of his douchiness at times. But as a hitman, he sneaks in, he studies the studier, and then strikes. But unlike you, Scott remains belligerent and remains willfully ignorant of his part in the dissolution of his relationships.
I think that was a compliment.
Yes. Because you know what you're doing.
I know exactly what I'm doing, Warfather. Thank you. Yes. I think I don't know. There's just Scott Pilgrim.
What is your view of Mr. Pilgrim?
I don't know entirely. I think you made some very fair points. This is an argument I've heard recently, and I wanted to get your take on it. I would say I'm inclined to agree with you. And there's no shame in liking Scott Pilgrim.
There's no shame in liking Scott Pilgrim because, as the chat is saying, it is about learning. It is about finding out the villain within yourself that has remained hidden from you, because we're all the protagonists in our own story, but we keep forgetting that we could be the villain in others, depending on perspective. And it's based on our behavior and our responses to others' behavior that truly defines what our character is.
You are bringing some hard-hitting stuff, my friend. I don't even know how to react. You are so wise.
Oh, please. I'm just a grown man wearing his blood robe of victory. in his helmet and has Mighty Schmoebash at his side and nothing more. But I am flattered at what you have shown me today.
Oh, well, thank you. Do you have speaking of Scott Pilgrim, which is it's an Innergeekdom movie.
Tis.
Do you have a favorite, let's call it a mixed bag Innergeekdom movie? Like not Marvel, not DC, MCU, Harry Potter.
I am a giant fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise.
Okay.
In all of its various forms.
Do you like all the films? I know there's...
I even like the third one, and I understand that it is terrible. The Michael Bay produced films are not without charm. They are not my favorite, but they have some good moments in there. And when it is good, it is very good. And the rest is what it is. I do believe, however, the best cinema contribution of this TMNT franchise is actually the film TMNT, which often gets overlooked.
Yes, the animated film.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen that film? You should.
I have actually not seen that film.
I believe it is on Netflix, and you should remedy that. You will enjoy yourself while studying. A few Innergeekdom hints. Patrick Stewart is a voice actor of the prominent villain in the film.
That is good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, I will definitely have to check that out. Oh, we have Miss Movies in the chat here, yes. And I think she has a very, very important question. Do you have any war dogs, war cats, or are you a warfish guy?
Unfortunately, my war lease does not allow any war pets. However, I do enjoy babysitting and walking war dogs. And when I take allergy medication, I enjoy petting and spoiling battle cats, and occasionally going to a park and tossing some fish food to some into some victory fish.
So we have battle cats and victory fish are the official
battle cats, victory fish, war dogs. All of them are magnificent in my sight, and I do occasionally enjoy going to the zoo and gazing upon some conflict lizards and clash birds and the like.
Interesting. So you do like going to the park and feeding the victory fish?
I do.
What if a turtle came up? Would you feed the turtle as well?
Of course. The turtle has seen many a battle. Have you not seen its shell? It goes upon conflict every day of its life. Of course, I should reward it with a crust of bread or strawberry or whatever piece of fruit. Conflict lizards have to do with the fact that they are in combat movies. They have nothing to do with conflict diamonds, as seen in the movie Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Is there a particular name that you have for turtles as well that we should be properly referring to them as?
Well, they're Ninja Turtles, obviously.
Of course. How could I be so blind?
They are also known as tank lizards in my sight, even though that they are technically reptiles.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite animal in the animal kingdom?
The Warfather. Back in a different age, in a different time, in a different body, the Warfather would mount his mighty battle mastodon into victory and into glory. But I also love that prehistoric sloth. That just seems fun. Violently fun.
Prehistoric sloth is violently fun, you say?
Oh, of course.
Aren't sloths slow?
Have you seen a prehistoric sloth? They're 9 feet long. You better believe that they're slow. That you would want them to be slow.
That's fair.
Have you seen a grizzly bear on all fours?
Not in person.
But you know what it looks like, right?
Yes.
Take that and double it.
Oh my God.
That's what a prehistoric sloth is. However, should Jurassic Park technology ever occur, would love to have a pet triceratops. I mean, they have a horny helmet and head like me. They both need to eat their vegetables. And they're both large and in the way a lot of the time. I see a lot of myself in them, is I guess what I'm trying to get at.
You know, I haven't put much thought lately into what my favorite dinosaur would be.
What would it be?
I mean, you know,
especially given being the Jurassic Park fan, you would know.
When I was younger, watching Jurassic Park 3, I really loved the Spinosaurus. You know, most people are a T-Rex fan, and they felt it was an insult at this Spinosaurus, much larger than the one that actually existed in real life. But hey, these aren't real dinosaurs using frog DNA. They can make whatever they want.
Plus, real dinosaurs may have had feathers, for what we know.
Yes. I believe they did have feathers.
Yes. They were chickens. Giant chickens.
Please chickens. Yes. So I really did like the Spinosaurus. Velociraptors, of course, are a known favorite, but Velociraptors in the film are more like a Utah raptor. In the real world, Velociraptors were actually much smaller, about the size of a chicken, I believe.
Now, wouldn't it be better to have a Velociraptor the size of a chicken? They'd be much easier to be housebroken as a pet.
Oh, for sure. And we've seen now in the Jurassic World franchise that you could train a Velociraptor to not eat you at the very least.
Provided that they're blue.
To not eat you. Provided that they're blue.
True.
Yes. Echo, Delta, not so much.
No.
Yeah. Favorite kind of dinosaur.
Well, let's start from the current species of evolution and work our way down. What is your favorite animal? Do you have any war dogs or battle cats and the like in your life?
I don't
know much. I don't know much about you, Brandon Hanna. I would love to get to know about you. It is your show, after all.
I'm a big fan of war dogs and battle cats. You know, I have a few in my life that I admire from afar, but I don't currently have any of my own. Favorite animal. I feel like I have one that's really obvious that if you said it, but I can't think of it right now. You know, outside, of course, of war dogs and battle cats.
Aside from the domesticated.
Exactly. Aside from the domesticated animals of combat. That is a good. Oh, I do have an animal.
Please.
I don't know what people are going to think about this, but I love goats.
Really?
I think goats are super weird and awkward, but like cute at the same time. And that's just like, I'm weird and awkward, and I'm like, I can relate to a goat, you know?
Well, friend, I'm weird and awkward, and some would say cute, and I have horns. So I echo those sentiments, friend.
I would say cute, WARFATHER.
Oh, shucks. I wasn't fishing, but I like what I caught.
Yes, and it wasn't a victory fish.
Oh, was not a victory fish. But if it were, speak of victory fish, I wish I had sushi right now. That sounds very good.
Oh, yes, sushi. Maybe I will indulge in some sushi later.
I hope you do. I hope it's fantastic and wonderful. Yes. And fresh.
Always fresh.
Yep. So what are some other bad I loved our subject of bad movies earlier. What are some bad movies or guilty pleasures that you indulge in? The WARFATHER's all about guilty pleasure. Wink.
Yes.
But not pornography. That's not what we're talking about.
Oh, no, not at all.
We're talking about Cinema.
Cinema, pure, true cinema, like Jurassic Park 3.
True cinema, like Jurassic Park 3.
Other guilty pleasures, right off the top of my head. Oh, there's so many. There's like so many movies that I've seen that have just been like on TV, and I've just watched them and like enjoyed it, and then later on, after the fact, found out that they were like panned and like have horrible reviews. I do find myself, I wouldn't call myself by any means a rom-com expert, but I do enjoy watching rom-coms, even bad ones.
Ooh,
like
dish.
Something Borrowed is a rom-com that I acknowledge is bad. It's a bad movie. But if it's on TV and I got nothing going on, I will sit down and watch it.
Oh, brilliant. That's lovely. It's lovely, Hitman.
You know, so many like that. And it makes you wonder too, like, what is a guilty pleasure and what is just genuinely good? You know, you look at something like Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. That movie's ridiculous. I love it. But I also think it's genuinely good. I don't think it's a bad movie by any means.
No. I would say that most people that consume comedies of such renown consider that to be one of the better ones. But in terms of guilty pleasure, I would say it would be something that is not just critically panned by the critics, but panned by the general masses. Talladega Nights, from whom I've spoken to, seems to be considered one of the better films of Mr. William Ferrell.
Yes. Directed by Adam McKay.
Of course.
Well. I just had one and I lost it. Let's talk about the DCEU films, for example.
Here we go.
I really enjoy Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition specifically.
Wow.
I also still kind of like the theatrical cut, but there's so much taken out of it. The extra 30 minutes that's added to the Ultimate Edition makes a world of difference.
Does it?
It does. Like, it adds so much new information to the plot of the film that, like, you watch it after seeing the theatrical cut first, you go back and watch the Ultimate Edition, you're like, wow, like that's what was going on, and they just never explained it. Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Oh,
and I will, as bad as it is to a certain degree, I will even defend the Martha scene. Was it executed well? No, it wasn't.
It was not.
But the ideas behind it, and you know, when you have Batman, you know, holding that spear to Superman's throat, and like, it's not just like, hey, your mom has the same name as my mom, let's be friends. That's not what's going on at all. He hears the name Martha, which throws him off. He's like, wait a minute, what's going on? What is this alien talking about? Why is he saying my mom's name? This makes no sense. And then all of a sudden, he's still trying to piece things together. Lois Lane shows up. That's his mother's name. So now he thinks Superman is this big bad alien who's just going to wipe them all out. And he's slowly realizing, hey, like, this guy has a human mom he cares about deeply, so deeply that he's about to die, and his final words are, save my mom. But then he also has a girlfriend who's showing up out of the blue, literally throwing herself in between him and the spear. And he's realizing, like, this Superman guy, he's not the threat that I thought he was.
The execution was poor. I enjoy your reasoning. I would have accepted the Martha thing had it been just a brief. It caused a hesitation within Batman, but a brief one long enough for Superman to get out of that precarious position. Just more of a feint, if anything. And then possibly just lead up to the realization that they both have the same name. Mm-hmm. But in terms of the heat of the moment and the execution of the scene as portrayed,
I think that's a fair improvement that you suggest there. I even like kind of like Suicide Squad, and that's one where I watch it and I know it's bad, but I
Yes,
still enjoy watching it.
it had some good points in an otherwise not good movie. And it's
Whereas with
more of a music video, really.
well, yeah, I mean, it was edited together by a trailer company for crying out loud.
Tis
But when I watch Batman v Superman, it's not a guilty pleasure to me because I actually do believe that it's good. Whereas I watch Suicide Squad, I know it's bad, but I like it anyway.
Fair.
And Man of Steel too. I think Man of Steel, when I first saw Man of Steel, I remember I went to the midnight screening with my friend Ryan, and he didn't love it either. I'll never forget turning to him at the end of the movie and saying, "What'd you think?" And he goes, "That was a mess." But over time, watching it over and over again, specifically to study for Innergeekdom, it gets better every time for me. I think it's a really well made film.
I think you're describing exposure therapy, friend. I did not. I have no big revelations regarding Man of Steel. It is the same as others have before in terms of why Superman is because he doesn't snap the neck of people, and and the difference between him and the Man of Bats is Superman saves, Batman punishes. And this is not portrayed at all in Man of Steel. He does no saving. He does wanton destruction upon property, endangering lives, and ultimately ends with that violent act. And on top of that, Pa Kent is the worst character in the DCEU because he is incredibly apathetic. It's not just the whole, I don't know, maybe people don't deserve to be saved, which is awful. It's the fact that he's not a real farmer. The reason I say he's not a real farmer, and I know farmers because I've spoken to my roommate, Erik Barnes, who's grown up in Ohio. Real farmers, they love their dogs. They don't value them enough to endanger their own lives. Especially just knowing that I am going to make my wife a widower, put her through all the financial stress, have all this issue for a farm for an animal who, while beloved and deserves to live, will only live 5 to 10 more years for the sake of my son, who could go at speeds beyond the blink of an eye, just to needlessly die in a tornado. That is not a farm. A farmer, if he cannot sell puppies, will, I hate to say it, drown those puppies if they cannot afford to feed them. That's what a farmer is. Pa Kent is a terrible role model for a human and a terrible farmer based on those merits together. Thus, the worst character in the DCEU.
That is a very interesting take. I don't know if I personally agree with you, but
keep in mind, the WARFATHER does not advocate the slaughter of puppies or dogs of any sort and any kind.
Of course not.
WARFATHER just speaks of the truth of a good chunk of the farming industry in the country. Please continue, Mr. Hanna.
Oh, I don't personally think that I agree with what you're saying. But on the other hand, I can't say that you're wrong. I think it's a very respectable opinion of that character, and
if you like
I
the
see
movie,
where you're coming from.
If you care for the movie, I'm not going to hate you for it. God forbid someone enjoys something.
What? You're not going to hate me for liking a movie that you don't like? What?
Yes, I'm going to hate you for this very arbitrary reason that hurts no one.
I hope you're listening, Internet. I hope you're listening. But we are running very low on time on this happy hour.
Oh, time just flew by.
It just flies by when you're having war fun.
Yes, I like this. I will adopt
Yes.
now if you'll let me.
Oh, of course. Please adopt.
Oh, I enjoy this war fun that I had with you, Hitman.
Yes, thank you. I enjoyed it as well. I did think of one more guilty pleasure movie.
Please.
I'm a big fan of horror films, so of course, even bad horror films, I can go watch and enjoy. I remember seeing The Woman in Black in theaters, and that's one of those films that's bad. But when you watch it in a crowded theater on a Saturday night opening weekend, it could be a lot of fun. Just
Those
reacting with the audience. And I have a similar opinion on a movie that's in the Conjuring universe, The Nun. I think The Nun is a lot of fun.
Oh, a lot of war fun?
A lot of war fun.
Oh, that's
yes,
kind of fun. Yes.
That movie is just so ridiculous in the best way. I'm not going to spoil it for those of you who haven't seen it, but it gets a little out there. But it's just like a fun, like haunted house type of horror film that I appreciate.
Interesting.
Yes.
Wow. I appreciate that perspective. And I appreciate you, Mr. Hanna. And I wish you the best. And I will root for you as you face Saul this Friday.
Thank you. Yes, I am I guess it's time to plug. I am facing Saul this Friday. It's premiering, I believe, at 2 p.m. Pacific time over at the Movie Trivia Schmoedown, the Schmoedown Entertainment Network YouTube channel. So you're not going to want to miss that. Saul's going to get what's coming to him. Okay. The Hitman, I'm done making threats. I'm making promises. I'm preaching the truth. You need to listen to me when I'm speaking to you, because everyone else is just going to feed you some BS. And I'm just going to tell you how it is. Whether you like it,
the truth, friend. Kill
whether
them.
you don't like it. Warfather, we're all about speaking the truth here. I know you love to speak the truth as well.
Yes. Yes, yes.
So, if people want to hear you speaking the truth, where can they find you, or perhaps your publicist on the internet?
Well, you can follow my publicist at Erik W. Barnes. He typically just talks nonsense regarding just comedy musings, shows that he does. He's a performer as well, and thoughts on pro wrestling and various other things, and of course promoting my matches when I threaten him with Schmobash. He needs to get on that a little bit more, but if you want to connect to me, you connect through him. For the time being, until I meet this War Dad.
Yes, someone out there, please find War Dad. We need to know who he is.
Cease and desist.
We need to find this War Dad. But as you're helping us find War Dad, if you have any tips of the location and whereabouts of War Dad, you can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram at BrandonHanna07. If you like this video, if you've enjoyed the war fun that we've had today, please like this video. Perhaps leave a comment down below of
smash that like button.
Some war fun topics of your own. If you have a guilty movie pleasure, let us know down below, and subscribe to this channel. Hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on potentially more war fun in the future. Speaking of which, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Pacific time, I will be hosting a Black Lives Matter fundraiser stream on this channel. And the way that's going to work is I will post more information to my Twitter of all the details. So please look out for it there. But we will be generating some funds for some great charities. And I'm going to put myself out there a bit. When we hit a certain donation about, which I will let you all know, I will send out the StreamYard link to all of the personalities in the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. And anybody who wants to can come onto the show, and well, they can just speak their mind, because let's be honest, there's been a lot of controversy going on in the Movie Trivia Schmoedown lately. And, it's time to confront my demons, to confront my enemies, if you will, and maybe hash things out for a good cause, and hopefully entertain some of you along the way.
Indeed. Please do that. And please support the Black Lives Matter movement. If you go on the internet, there are plenty of links in order to properly distribute some of your war funds into the right cause.
Yes, war funds. It's another great word, Warfather. Thank you so much. Thank you for helping me promote a good cause, and thank you so much once again for joining me on the show. And until next time, everybody, until Friday, remember, #80%, #Saul